President Trump is doubling down on his scare tactics to voters 1 week before the midterms. Just take the immigration issue. He is calling asylum seekers invaders, joining a chorus of conservative personalities echoing the same talking point. This month, Fox News used the word invasion in relation to the migrant caravan more than 60 times. And over on Fox Business, more than 75. Trump is sending 5,000 troops to the U.S.-Mexico border, and now he is threatening to end birthright citizenship. That's something that is ingrained in the U.S. Constitution with an executive order.
How ridiculous. We're the only country in the world where a person comes in, has a baby, and the baby is essentially a citizen of the United States for 85 years with all of those benefits. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And it has to end.
To be clear, he's wrong. The U.S. is one of at least 30 countries around the world with birthright citizenship. So with me now, CNN chief political analyst Gloria Borger and Taru Vinaraja, a federal prosecutor who once clerked for Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer. And Taru, I want to begin with you just on the Constitution piece. I've got some sound. This is House Speaker Paul Ryan commenting on this moments ago.
Well, you obviously cannot do that. You cannot end birthright citizenship with an executive order. We didn't like it when Obama tried changing immigration laws via executive action, and obviously as conservatives, we believe in the Constitution. As a conservative, I'm a believer in following the plain text of the Constitution, and I think in this case the 14th Amendment's pretty clear. Mm-hmm. And that would involve a very, very lengthy constitutional process. Mm-hmm. But where we obviously totally agree with the president is getting at the root issue here, which is unchecked illegal immigration.
So again, Taru, to quote Speaker Ryan, this obviously cannot be done, correct?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. I mean, there is no precedent, there is no legal authority, there is no legitimate basis to this suggestion. The last time this argument was taken seriously was literally Dred Scott, which was then promptly overruled explicitly by the 14th Amendment to the Constitution. It's not just that he can't do it by executive order, it would require an amendment to the Constitution to try to open the door to evaporate birthright citizenship.
Timing is noteworthy. Gloria Borger, you've just written about this. We are 7 days before the midterms. You've been writing about the president's attempts to fire up his base. I mean, isn't that's really what this is all about?
Sure. It's kind of throw everything against the wall and see what sticks. If, he bemoaned after the pipe bomber that he was losing momentum in the midterm elections. What he's trying to do is get his momentum back. So it's the need. He says, okay, Republicans are going to protect pre-existing conditions. I'm going to pass a tax cut for the middle class sometime before the election, when Congress, I might remind you, is not even in town. Sending the 5,000 troops to the border. All of this is kind of a piece. And also, I went back and looked at President Trump's Twitter feed, because, there's always a tweet for everything. And in 2012, after President Obama issued the executive action on Dreamers, he called these actions major power grabs of authority.
How about that? About that? Twitter works for him, works against him. But I mean, you talk about momentum. I mean, essentially, then the momentum would be a total abdication of responsibility. I mean, this is the president of the United States who is supposed to be in office and uphold the Constitution, and he is trying to defy the Constitution, tying it to the caravan, tying it to the invasion. Quotes. It's fear-mongering, Gloria.
Well, look, I think elections are always about fear to a certain degree, but Donald Trump likes to campaign on that. I mean, this is what he does. He gets people riled up. It works for him. He has to have an enemy in order to succeed. So the caravan has to be the enemy. The Democrats, of course, it's an election, have to be the enemy. And so he finds things that he can latch onto, as he's doing here, saying we should not allow birthright citizenship because he wants to rile up his base, and the Democrats want to let all these people in. And this is his MO. We've watched it for years now. So, in a way, we shouldn't be surprised by it, except that he can't do any of it.
This
Let's
is
say it
a
again. He can't do this. Hang on, because if you flip the script, Taru, I mean, wouldn't this be the same thing as if you had a Democratic president who wanted to sign an executive order, to change the Second Amendment on guns? It'd be you can't do that.
That's exactly right, Brooke. And it's even worse. I think he knows that he can't do that. I mean, this is one of those things where whether it's building the wall at the expense of Mexico or passing a big tax cut when Congress isn't in session, he just says these things because he knows he's going to get a reaction. What I think is so troubling is not just the complete lack of precedent for this, it's also the fact that the timing comes, of course it's an election, a pre-election stunt, but the country is reeling from politically motivated threats, from hate-infused slaughter in Pittsburgh. And our leaders in history have come forward to try to bring us together in these moments. And instead, to inject divisiveness and sow chaos at a moment like this is just so irresponsible. But as Gloria said, it's exactly what we've come to expect from the president.
I think the president is confused, Brooke, because he likes to hit, but now people want him to hug people. And empathy is not his strong suit.
No, I was about to say, just read the Patty Davis piece in the Washington Post yesterday, right? I mean, that to me, I'm going to print that out and stick that on my wall. Anytime someone tries to think that in moments like these, you're going to have the president, try to pull off a kumbaya, just it isn't going to happen. But when you go back to what the president's trying to do, Taru, just final question. I mean, it is, like I said, it's the president's job. Is it not the president's job to uphold the Constitution and not try to sit there and change it?
Absolutely. I mean, every one of us who's lawyers, who are public officials, take an oath to uphold the Constitution and to try to write out something as important as the citizenship clause to the 14th Amendment is just irresponsible. I think he thinks Americans aren't going to figure this out, that we can't walk and chew gum. I think he's going to be proven wrong. We're going to not only object to this outrage today, we're going to vote against anyone who supported it tomorrow.